Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Vasavvi Acharjya, and I welcome you all to this series of ECDF Edu Talks. And my episode is about peaceful humans, early years peace pedagogy that I came up with. And I will be giving a brief overview of what this pedagogy is all about, why I came up with it, and how can we inculcate peace education in children right from their early childhood years. So allow me to share my screen. Yeah, I believe my screen is visible to all. So here is the Peaceful Humans, Early Years Peace Pedagogy. And like I already said, I'm an early childhood expert, and I have been working in this domain for last 24 years. But my uh, very, a subject of interest is peace education. And being an early childhood educator, I feel that peace uh, or the values associated with peacekeeping need to be inculcated into children, incorporated into them from the early childhood years. And as I move on with this session, I'll tell why and how this pedagogy works and what are the methodologies that I have incorporated to make it work and the results of the same. So this is what I'll be covering today. It's why a peace pedagogy, the goals, my research, peace enabling setup, the materials and methods that I've worked out, peace curriculum, and then the evaluation, what is new in this curriculum, and then the achievements, novelty, and scope for future. So moving on to the introduction bit, why a peace pedagogy? Now, peace is a need in today's world. We all know the chaos that is there, that is all prevalent. And I would always say that peace is not about uh, the absence of war, but it is about keeping a mindset that is towards making or living in that equilibrium, living in a state which is absent of war and absent of any kind of anxiety, fear, and all of it. So when I talk about peace, for me, if I personify peace, the word peace, if I personify it, for me, it stands for a patient listener and a proactive problem solver who is empathetic, who is an aware individual with an altruistic mindset, a calm, collaborative, and communicative individual who is ethical, morally, he is sound. So, this is what is peace for me if peace can walk this earth, if peace is a human. So, this is what it represents. And well, for me, peace constitutes three aspects. One is the inner peace, one is peace in social life, and peace with the environment. When I talk about inner peace, it's about the inner harmony, our compassion, self esteem, happiness, joy, understanding each other's feelings, and, knowing and forgiving, being more blissful, more compassionate, more empathetic. That allows a person to have inner peace. When we talk about peace in social life, we all know that we are social beings and we interact all the time. And we have to learn to live together in harmony with other human beings. So we need negotiation, conflict resolution skills, all of it in order to live a peaceful social life. And when I talk about peace with the environment, we know about the environmental hazards, what's happening to this earth, and without the environment, no living being can survive. So, peace with environment, again, is a very important element in my peace pedagogy. I believe that children should imbibe a culture of peace from early on because at this time, the child's mind is the most absorbent and children's brain architecture is developed at this time. So if we as caregivers, give them the best practices, try to make them, ready with these peace building skills, I feel it is going to stay for the entire life. And I also believe that peace should not be a practice, but it should be one's lifestyle. It should be a part of one's daily life. So we do not practice peace as one part of our, day, that today now I'll be peaceful, but this practice should become a part of your daily life. And I personally have a great interest in creating a world that lives in harmony and love. And so I came up with this, and I believe that it is going to make a difference to lives of people. Maybe in next 20, 25 years, we have an earth which is more peaceful, a world with more peaceful human beings. So moving on. What is the goal of my peace pedagogy? Children learn an alternative to aggression and violence. So we always have a lot of conflicting ideas, conflicting things, conflict in and around us. But there is always an alternative to conflict, alternative to aggression, alternative to anxiety and fear. Again, I would believe that emotional self-regulation, which we call as the socio-emotional skills, SEL, the ability to recognize, label, and handle one's emotion, should become an integral part of one's life. Mindfulness, meditation, allowing children to look deeper into their feelings, and labeling and understanding one's feeling, and being more self-regulated. Also, the goal includes that a child should learn fair fighting, have empathy, collaboration, negotiation skills, problem solving, and decision making. And then in places where there is disharmony, where there is conflict, one needs to recognize and also work towards resolving these conflicts. So if they are learning these skills from early on, they would be able to resolve bigger conflicts when they grow up. So basically, if I come about talk about my research, so when I have been doing a lot of work and a lot of studies in these contexts, and even those who have worked before me talk about a piece curriculum, or maybe not a curriculum but a part of the peace building of being a part of the early childhood education. I came across a lot of literature, a lot of things that talk about how peace or the peacekeeping skills can be incorporated into a child's life right from the start. And here I would like to talk about Stancy Alfonso, who told about how education in the early childhood years lays the foundation for future development capabilities. She said that the interplay of language, cognition, and social emotional capacities and physical abilities come into use more frequently and purposefully in the early childhood years as children develop language. They use it to convey their needs and wants, express their emotions, and verbally solve the conflict. Similarly, as children develop cognitive abilities, it allows them to see a distinction between themselves and the others, and use their new social skills to test out friendship making capabilities. So, these kind of skills need to be incorporated in the early years. And coming to the basically critical thinking or behavior regulation are the core skills of peace building. We see that children from early on, they have their own anxieties, they have their own fears, but they need to know how to deal with them, how to regulate them. And coming to the third bit of this presentation, the neuroscience of peace. So we all know that we have this frontal lobe in the brain that is in control of our emotions. It is in control of our social and emotional reactions. It is in control of our cognitive skills like problem solving, planning, judgment, conversation, and also some of our abilities like linguistic, artistic, and creative skills, and also our voluntary movements. So when if our frontal lobe of the brain, which occupies more than 40% of our brain, develops, and a child knows how to regulate one's emotion, I feel that it is easier for them to negotiate. It is easier for them to resolve conflict, to solve a problem, to collaborate, to communicate. And that I think is the essence of my entire pedagogy. And if we look at, when there is a stressor in a child's life, so I'll not go very deep into all of it, because today I'm not discussing this, but basically what the pedagogy contains. So if we look at when we talk about the amygdala, which is, one part of the brain that is very, very, kind of responsive to fear, and it tends to sometimes, go for the, kind of get very quickly threatened by any kind of external or internal stimuli. And it kind of hijacks our thinking mind, which is the frontal lobe of the brain. So if children know emotional self-regulation, they know how to control the feelings, know how to, they are able to kind of control this kind of a block in their thinking, a block in their in the thinking mind, to take a rational decision, to make a kind of a decision, correct decision at that time. So I believe that yes, if we train our minds, it can lead to a more responsive kind of a empathetic and a compassionate mind, and a mindset that is more proactive to uh, to sustaining peace, to keep it intact in our society. So from neuroscience to educational philosophy, research into early childhood agreed that early childhood is the optimum time to acquire foundational values and peacemaking skills. So moving on to the materials and methods, yes, we need to create a peace enabling setup in the school. The classroom climate needs to be very, very conducive to peace. Peace language is another part of the teacher's vocabulary. That should be a part of every day. It should be an everyday thing. My peace curriculum basically will consist of visual arts, performing art, drama, music, peace inducive stories, mindfulness practices. And I've come up with some parameters, and those parameters I will be talking about later in this presentation, and how we can inculcate a child to have more value of oneself, and the child's relationship with the others, and conflict resolution. And then I would be talking about the toolkits. So I think I'd read out this quote, which is very beautiful. World peace must develop from inner peace. Peace is not just the mere absence of violence. Peace is, I think, the manifestation of human compassion, as said by Dalai Lama the 14th. So again, I would talk a little bit about the peace enabling setup that I was having in my mind, the outdoor setup, which should be very, very green, with gardening. Children should practice gardening. There should be gardens, pets, bird feeders, something where children can be one with the environment. Also, I feel that the outdoor play items need to be very, very child friendly, where children can play, they learn to negotiate, they learn to solve problems, they learn to kind of manage their anger, learn about how to deal with the feelings. And I also feel that uh, the adult around them should help the children to regulate their behavior when they are outdoors. Children should learn how to love animals. So when we visited these schools in Bangkok recently, we had this edu tour. I could see a lot of pets in the schools, and it was encouraging, because children were kind of communicating with these pets, and I think they develop a lot of love and love, compassion, and empathy when they do so. And when we come to this indoor area, I would like to talk about building a peace corner, like Maria Montessori. She already talked about a corner, which was a more comforting space with a lot of things like, which are cozy, where children love to be, love to unwind, love to kind of, de-stress, like small tables, bean bags, chairs, and pot plants, many piece things like the mandalas, or even play doh and stuff, where they can, take out any kind of stress that they feel. gratitude stones, worry dolls, where they practice, talking about their worries or anything that makes them not feel happy with themselves or doubt themselves, create self-doubt, and they could talk. And maybe a lot of nature-related objects like twigs, shells, leaves, the hourglass timer, and a lot of other things that can be, in these corners. And then we have this doll called the Yogaru. It's not a doll, but it's basically my messenger of peace. So a child can interact with that messenger uh, uh, when 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 the child is feeling overwhelmed or overjoyed, or maybe a little depressed or sad, or they can share the feelings, talk about their problems, and probably, if the teacher, the adult caregiver who is around them, can help them regulate these feelings, understand the feelings, label them. And I believe it is very important to have a music corner where soft, soothing music is playing, and the child feels more comfortable. There should be nice fragrances, which is again a very integral part, because our smell, our sense of smell is very, very it is one of those very important of all our self sense organs, and it can actually create a lot of calm in one's mind. The color tones in the classrooms, the setup of the school, like I already said, it should be very, very child friendly in terms of the children should feel very comfortable in that setup. The color tones on the walls should be very pastely, light colored, which is soothing, more, which brings more peace into their mind. And it is devoid of any kind of very loud and very kind of colorful things, which kind of, it should be there in certain corners, but not everywhere, and not especially in the peace corner. And I think the school should have some library which has these peace, books that stories that have stories that teach empathy, compassion, and a lot of these, the good behavior traits, love for plants, animals, personal awareness, how to love oneself, getting rid of self doubt, and then a lot child friendly furniture again is very, very important in a peace enabling setup. Coming to a classroom which has the peace climate, I think the educator need to declare that area as a bullying free zone, as a peace classroom where truth, respectfulness, cooperation, liberty, justice is kind of promoted in the atmosphere, and the conflict resolution techniques need to be you know um, uh, addressed by the facilitator in a way that children feel more equal with each other. They feel more as if there is no biasness, there is no kind of discrimination, there is no hierarchy between the educator and the student, and where children are given the opportunity to be heard, where they're given the opportunity to give decisions, to have a say in resolving any kind of conflict or any kind of problem in the class. And they should be, the teacher should be more kind of reflective, and they should reflect on their language in terms of whether they are emulating peace behavior themselves or not, whether the teacher is, the facilitator is actually, is she actually kind of showing herself as one of the messengers of peace, in the sense that uh, children follow them. So they need to be very, very careful about the language they use. And also they should be questioning the children about how would you have resolved this, this situation or this conflict, or what other thing you would have done differently. So these kind of open questions should be there at all the time, which enables the child to think and solve the problem. And also, I talk about the facilitator's mindset, like already I've mentioned, that children should be given equal opportunities. Nobody should be, they should always feel equal. There should be a sense of justice And educators should choose to, choose materials in the classroom that are reflective of what we are trying to incorporate into the child. And it is they should be very mindful of their own actions, because children kind of always copy, or they try to kind of follow their facilitators in a way that they are like the gurus. So they should have those kind of qualities in them. And now moving on to basically the Yogaro doll. I already talked about the Yogaro. So we have this, one kind of a messenger of peace who would be helping children to self-regulate. There are a lot of these stories that I have incorporated in my toolkit, and Yogaro would be talking about these, good qualities, the values, the core values that the children need to learn through these stories, and that way the children feel more friendly towards towards one of these kind of a doll or a kind of a thing where they can actually, because sometimes children are not able to really kind of express their feelings in front of the adults. So if we have this social emotional a doll where a child can talk about their emotions and they feel more comfortable. So we have Yogaro, and Yogaro would be very, very effective in delivering the messages that we need to tell these children. And moving on to the toolkit, I would be coming to later. And here I would like to show a bit of the trainings that we had. Um, these are the trainings that we have given in terms of what we will be doing in our classrooms. And these are the activities I've been talking about, how they're learning diversity, learning to love each other's culture, learning through storytelling, uh, the peace building stories, where how they can resolve their conflict and problems, and they're working collaboratively with each other, and how they can, collaborate in a way that they bring some kind of difference uh, to the environment. And these are activities that you can see where children, they develop a bond with nature, with the animals, and they're planting. They love trees. So this child, in particular in the Tamilpur Center in Assam, his parent, even the other day when I met his parents, they said that my child is so fond of trees that he goes and he hugs the trees in the school, in and around his house. So they have this love, so this needs to be inculcated into them. And these are role plays where they're talking about how the environment is important, how we need to love our environment, how we need to take care, preserve. And these were a lot of dramas. This is one of the visuals of the meditation that they were doing. It's not exactly meditation, but just sitting quietly and trying to, regulate their breath and also their feelings, and feel more calm and at peace. And we have a lot of these waste management activities, the 3 R's we talk about. And then this is the library where they they get to read a lot of material. They have a lot of materials about these things. And also when we talk about nutrition, food, it is the kind of food that we take. What is, the when we talk about fresh food that needs to be consumed, instead of, because our gut is again very, very relevant in terms of, if we have a good gut, we have a good mind. So the kind of nutrition our children are given, the kind of food that they're having, they need to be moving away from fast food and go more towards the organic, the natural kind of food, more towards the vegetable pulses, grains, and the fresh greens they should be consuming. So we trying to teach them about good food and good practices. So these are again some self visuals and art that they engage in when they feel that, they want to express something, and uh, a lot of activities. So now I have seen that, practicing this for the last 10 months in our classrooms, I've seen that children are a lot more cooperative. They are a lot more responsive. They don't react, but they respond, and they also reflect. I have seen that children have learned how to reflect on their actions, how to reflect on the feelings, and how to manage the feelings. And this has been a very, very positive thing that I have seen. And yeah, what is new is basically in this curriculum, we have the Yogaro, where I have already talked about that, told you about it. And the whole curriculum is about the whole child involvement. So when I talk about the whole child involvement, it is basically interdisciplinary in a way, and it touches about all aspects. And coming to the toolkits, again, I'm going a bit back to my presentation where we are talking about the toolkits that the child is using. So there are 24 key values that I feel needs to be incorporated. Some of them I'll be naming. So within valuing oneself, one needs to learn about self-esteem, self-control, self-care, honesty, kindness. So there are a lot of these activities around these values. And about me and my relationship, again, the child learns about gratitude that one feels towards others, diversity, generosity, friendship, compassion. And and a toolkit that deals with conflict resolution has things like tolerance, the dialogues uh, that are more, yeah, that reflect uh, conflict resolution, that is more towards negotiation, gender equality, respect, empathy. And so these toolkits have these 24 parameters, and there are many activities which are around it. And we train our teachers to on it so that they can incorporate it into their classrooms, their school spaces, and make it more effective for the children to learn, and also talk with the parents about these core values that we are trying to teach our children so that we can make this world a better place. So moving on, we move to the last bit of my presentation, the achievements. Yeah, there have been a lot of change with the students that I have practiced these in the last 10 months. And I feel there's a huge scope in for the future, because peace is one thing that the world needs now. Peace, education, being a part of the early childhood learning, early childhood education system is, I feel, again, very, very important. And I think that if we consciously take this ahead, there'll be um, a lot of scope for the children to learn these peace building skills right from the start, and incorporate those in their day-to-day life, and come and make this world a better place. So we have our training starting shortly. We have a group of trained facilitators who we are getting ready for the next session. And we welcome anybody who is interested to incorporate the peace education studies in their classrooms. We have two separate courses. One is the overall peace pedagogy, in the sense that how they can incorporate, how they can design the spaces, how they can, teach these peace building skills through different activities. And again, we have another set of these toolkits. If they would like to subscribe to the toolkits, then they can also take that and use it throughout the year with the child, so that the child learns these skills, and they get and the teachers get a proper guidance as to how they have to implement this uh, curriculum into the school, and teach the children in the right manner and in the right essence. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this Edu Talk. And we are coming up with more in our coming months. There'll be the other Edu Talk episodes coming up. And thank you once again for being a part of this. Thank you.